Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's board meeting. We called our meeting to order earlier in our closed executive session, so we are ready to begin our public portion of our meeting. And as this is the last meeting before spring break, I hope everyone's excited to renew, refresh, and re-energize, because we have the rest of the school year and the rest of the calendar year as well to finish up. So I'm going to turn it over now to Dr. Adderhold to see if he has any comments.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to send a special thanks to Send Hunger Packing, a local organization in our school community that raises funds for students and families in need with food insecurity. Specifically, they reached out to the district about 2-3 weeks ago with an opportunity to partner with a local company, Jersey Mike's, with a fundraiser, and had to coordinate up to 1,000 coupons for students, faculty, whatnot. And they did a tremendous job working collectively together and raised just under $4,000 through that fundraiser. So it was a tremendous collective effort from building association leaders through Pema Nadong at the central office, as well as working with our principals and administration. So a real team effort all around to take advantage of a fundraising opportunity to raise money for our local. But it doesn't happen without the work of Send Hunger Packing and her partnership with Tony Kowalik and Pema Nadong. So thank you to all of them.
Great, thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to our students for their report. From High School South, we have Rachel Joseph and Anna Chen. And from High School North, we have Anissa Samal and Johnson Lin. So take it away, kids.
Hello, thank you for having us. So to start us off, I would like to talk about spring sports. Our athletic teams are well underway into the start of their season, with our baseball, boys lacrosse, and boys tennis team getting off to particularly hot starts. We would like to highlight our boys tennis team that just won first place at the Brian Bennett tournament this past weekend to supplement their 6-0 start of the season. On to individual accolades. One of our seniors, Shiley Holden, was named as South's NJSIAA Women and Girls in Sports honoree. So we would like to extend a congratulations to her. And South was also very honored to host the CVC Unsung Hero Banquet, where athletes across Mercer County were recognized for their leadership, sportsmanship, and talent. Senior Julia Kozakowski was nominated as South's Unsung Hero. As the season continues, we wish all of our teams the best of luck and look forward to seeing them succeed. This past Friday, South hosted their junior prom at the Camden Aquarium. I didn't get to go myself, but from the many Instagram pictures I saw, it seemed to be a hit. Students got to enjoy a nice dinner and dance floor amongst sea life exhibits, and I heard that some students even got to touch stingrays, which is very cool. Regarding our music department, South recently hosted the CMEA Concert Band Festival, where bands from across the region came to perform. South's Wind Ensemble did very well, placing highly at the end of the day, and South's Nonette and Wind Ensemble also had very great performances recently. Lastly, our South Choir also had a music festival where they got to perform for younger students across the district. Next, I would like to hand it off to Anna.
Thank you, Rachel. Now I would like to highlight one of our own guidance counselors, Miss Walsh, who won Mercer County Counselor of the Year Award. Not only is Miss Walsh a dedicated counselor, but she's also a class of 2025 advisor, as well as the South's girls golf coach. Her efforts and involvement at South definitely do not go unnoticed. For the most part, South students are eagerly waiting for spring break to start. When we come back from break, Student Council will be holding their Spring Spirit Week along with their final pep rally of the year. Many of our art programs will be hosting performances to look forward to this spring. This Thursday, our jazz band will have their spring concert, and later this month, one of our cultural clubs, SASA, will be holding their annual show, which will be filled with lots of cultural dances and food. For our Spring Performing Arts Club, Pirate Player, they look forward to performing their play called I Heard It Through the Beanstalk to our elementary schools in our district. Likewise, another Spring Performing Arts Club called One Act will be performing Almost Maine. Not only are South students busy with extracurricular activities, As the AP season approaches and the third marking period closes out, students are preparing for the exams and managing their academics. And with that, we will now hand it off to North.
Thank you. To start off strong, the club applications have finally opened, and all underclassmen who have an interesting idea that they want to materialize can submit applications through the Student Council website. Keeping up with clubs, last week NHS had their Read Across America event where North students went over to Millstone to read some books to other students. Continuing on, Student Council hosted their Tonight Show event where they were able to raise a good amount of money to donate to Ava's Voice, the New Jersey Association of Student Council's state charity this year. And despite some technical difficulties, the show was a success and a lot of fun. Additionally, SASA was held this Saturday, and the show sold out before doors even opened, and proceeds were sent to SAAFC, a nonprofit dedicated to providing mental health resources to Asian American youth. The show consisted of various specialty dances consisting of classical, Ross, South Indian, hip-hop, Bhangra, and others, which are always a fun watch. Now passing it over to Johnson.
Whoops, thank you. And to continue off, North's annual Belonging Matters Day took place last month, where kids got to enjoy a variety of fun and entertaining activities while learning why they are important and belong in the community. A lot of clubs, such as cultural clubs, were able to hold their own workshops and sessions from topics ranging from character development and education to immigration culture. And something else that makes culture possible here is that we held our annual art show, where the annual West Windsor-Plainsboro art show had their reception tonight from 6 to 8 p.m., where I went, saw a lot of great pieces, much more talented than me. And the art show had pieces ranging from a lot of students from High School North, specifically from our photography, ceramics, and also our foundation classes. In addition, North's Model Congress team attended a conference at the University of Pennsylvania where they won Best Delegate again and many other awards. Congratulations to all our participants. And then afterwards, the very next week, they went to Rutgers MC to compete in a completely new conference where they had lots of fun and also won awards. In addition, moving on to sports, our spring sports are in full swing, with many teams doing a great job in their season. One team, the North Volleyball Varsity, has started with a 4-2 record with impressive wins at the start of the season. We wish them luck continuing into the rest of the season. Furthermore, PTSA will be hosting a spring into summer event for all of our seniors, where they will be providing food next week outside after spring break while we go out for lunch. Finally, on the topic of seniors, prom tickets are now in sale for the rest of the week, where seniors can buy their tickets for prom, which will be in June. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. A lot of fun stuff for juniors and seniors. And I was at that art show, and yeah, a lot of amazing talent there. So that's great. And it's nice to see that it's evident that your theme of belonging matters goes beyond that day, because you were just talking about all of the events and shows that goes on between like the high school students down to the elementary school students. So it's really nice to hear about all this. Thank you guys so much for your updates. Okay, next, I'm going to invite Dr. Christopher Russo to take us through the public hearing on the refunding bond ordinance of the West Windsor-Plainsboro Regional School District.
Okay. It's going to be an exciting report. All right, so we have, before you have several pages of motions and resolution to approve essentially a bond refunding for an energy savings improvement project that's been previously approved and moving forward. This is for the construction of the project. Bonds will be sold to fund it, and then the savings will pay for it. There will be no tax increase. I'm going to start with that. The savings from the energy lines makes the payment against the bond debt. So we'll start with, so refunding bonds are sold by the district to finance the energy conservation measures, ECMs. They're the individual projects like HVAC units or new boilers, et cetera, that are much more energy efficient. So the financing in this resolution is up to 20 years, and I'll explain why we can go to 20 years instead of the typical 15-year in this offering. So there'll be zero tax impact, no tax impact. The money for this, the payment, the refunding of these, for the payment of the refunding bonds comes through the savings of the in the budget, the energy lines. And that's due to reduced energy consumption from the energy conservation measures and the new solar arrays included in the power purchase agreements, which again, that project's already been approved to move forward. The principal amount of the bonds will not exceed $8.6 million. And it's written that way because the writing of the bond of the bonds will occur over the next several months. The bonds won't be sold until June. So as the market moves and what seems to be more marketable, the documents will be written to make it most marketable for the district to sell. There's $1.89 million in incentives and rebates, of which $1.03 million is from Schneider Electric, our ESCO, our energy conservation company. Their tax credits from 179D forms, which were based on the first energy savings improvement project. So there's $1 million in savings that the district could not receive in tax incentives. However, the company that created our first ESIP, Schneider Electric, was able to receive. They're offering $1 million of that back to the district. There's $750,000 of that $1.8 million is from additional New Jersey pay-for-play performance rebates from the first ESIP. What that means is the first ESIP outperformed what it was intended to perform. Where our third rebate was to be $1 million. That rebate is now $1.75 million. So we're moving $750,000 to offset the cost of ESIP 2. So $1.78 million of the $1.89 million is generated by rebates that are already due to the district. I think that's important because obviously there's concern with any rebates or any energy savings paper going forward that we should, this is based on a prior project and, which the district's entitled to at this time. ESIP 2, what are the projects? And these are the projects that have been approved and the programs moving forward. The Morris Hawk Elementary School HVAC replacement. This is for the entire building except for the new wing. There are a couple of units, literally 2 units in the building that were also upgraded when the one wing was built. The new wing, those 2 new units, and the new equipment will all be integrated. So into the building automation system, the BAS. Grover Middle School has 4 rooftop units over the gym that will be replaced. The Village Elementary School has 2 boilers that will be replaced. District-wide, there'll be ventilation optimization due to bipolar air ionizers, and there's also building envelope and weatherization measures. What that means is leaky windows will be caulked up. There'll be weather stripping put in places. Typically, soffits have gaps in them and such. They'll be caulked up and or weatherized. And then finally, the high school north will have a micro combined heat and power unit to replace the current heating unit in it. And what that does is the heat generated from the heating system essentially, we'll say, goes through a radiator per se, and the water goes down into the heating system for the pool and will heat the pool. Not the same water, it'll help heat the heating system that heats the pool. So the energy is used 2 ways. You're actually generating energy. So, and that allows you to go from 15 years to 20 years on the loan, or essentially on the bonds. Again, this is just a quick recap because obviously we all, have heard what's going on in the markets recently. But before that, we'll say an ESIP may be funded through a lease. ESIP 1 was literally funded through a lease. We took a lease purchase for 15 years and moved forward with it. The market is now more favorable to sell bonds, so that's what the motions before you are for. From our financial advisors, there's a strong demand for high-grade municipal tax-exempt issuance, so recent sales have been received well by the bond market. And then the bond sale will actually occur late in June. So realize the documents as they're written up will reflect what makes it more marketable for the district. What I mean by that is, notice the motion says up to 20 years. The details are not filled in on that motion because they will be filled in on the final documents that makes it more marketable for the district and as we move forward. And then another quote, bonds are most cost effective in the current interest rate environment. Recent lease rates have been in the mid 4% range compared to bonds that are in the mid 3% range. Over the term of the loan of the 20 years, that's approximately $1 million in savings on interest. So that's why we chose to go with the bonds. So that is my presentation for this evening. And I guess, are there any questions at this time? Yes.
Go ahead, Dana.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris, for the presentation, and thank you for all the details that you provided. So I have two questions. One is any of this bonding subject to any federal rules or regulations that could change?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're meaning could the environment change in which we're selling these and therefore cause something not to continue? Would be a translation?
Could be.
Well, with respect to the question I took it as is with respect to the language of the sale of the bonds. I mean, that part I don't know. With respect to incentives and that sort of question, if that was part of it, that's why I mentioned the majority of incentives are current based on the previous project, and the rest is $114,000, and that's from PSE&G and JCP&L. So my bet is they're secure.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. And then my next question is about, can you remind us how many facilities that you anticipate, how many of our district facilities do you anticipate will be energy neutral?
Sure. When this is done, there should be approximately 5, and I say approximately, it'll be 4 or 5, depending on the final project as it's presented, as it's created. I'll go a step further. It's kind of disappointing because we couldn't get approval for our JCP&L schools, which are Village and Grover, in which we could have taken them, they could have made them energy independent, and the town center roof, which PSE&G won't approve a project for that, which could make that building 100% electric efficient, or I hate to say off the grid, but we would be generating 100% of our electricity needs, and that would take us up to 7 or 8 schools. However, we lost those. We can't do it because, not saying we won't, because that, in my mind, that'll be ESIP 3. But with ESIP 2, we should be up to 5 schools, hopefully.
And just to add on that, the projects get approved by, the grid has to have capacity in order to do these energy savings projects. So when Dr. Russo talks about not being approved, JCP&L is at capacity. So that's why those 2 schools had to come off. So that would have saved additional savings on our energy bills, which would have allowed us to do additional bonding for additional projects. Same thing with town centers. The grid was at capacity. So if the roof had been completed, we could have chosen town center's roof instead of other areas that we're selecting, but the roof is not at a status due to the ROD grant. So it's really about grid capacity, not our capacity.
Thank you.
Louisa.
Could you just remind everybody, the ESIP 2 includes installing a number of solar installations. Could you just refresh everybody's memory on where we're putting new solar?
Sure. So new solar, it's High School North, Millstone River, the community school, High School South, and Morris Hall School. And they are carports over the various parking lots is what's going to go up.
Thanks. Anybody else have questions? All right, well, thank you so much for breaking all that down for us.
All right.
Thank you. That takes us to an opportunity for public comments on the refunding bond ordinance. The board invites thoughts and reactions on the refunding bond ordinance from members of our community who are present. Each participant is asked to give his or her name and address prior to making a statement, which will be limited to 3 minutes in accordance with Board Policy 0167. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. This public comment period shall be limited to 60 minutes. Anybody have any comments for this? Nope. Okay, seeing none, I will move to close this opportunity for a public comment. And I would like to get a motion to adjourn this public hearing on the refunding bond ordinance. Ajanta and Loy. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. And so then now I'd like to get a motion to approve the refunding bond ordinance. Louisa and Robin. Any other questions or comments before we vote? Nope. Okay.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. Cheniera.
Yes.
Ms. Maliga.
Yes.
Ms. Shah.
Yes.
Ms. Shetty.
Yes.
Ms. Bonsall.
Yes.
Ms. McEwen.
Yes. And that takes us then to the first opportunity for public comments. The board invites thoughts and reactions on agenda items and items of concern from members of our community who are present. Each participant is asked to give his or her name and address prior to making a statement, which will be limited to 3 minutes in accordance with Board Policy 0167. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. This public comment period shall be limited to 60 minutes. Any public comments? No? Okay. Seeing none, I will close this first opportunity for public comments. And since our committees have not met since the last board meeting, we don't have any committee reports this evening. So we can move on to the voting portion of our meeting. Can I get a motion for administration items, numbers 1 through 7? Dana and Liz, any questions or comments? Okay.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Excuse me. Ms. Cheniera.
Yes.
Ms. Maliga.
Yes.
Ms. Shetty.
Yes.
Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Shah. Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Ms. Bonsall.
Yes.
Ms. McEwen.
Yes. There are no items for curriculum and instruction this evening, so can I get a motion for finance items numbers 1 through 12? Louisa and Ajanta. Any questions or comments?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Shah. Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Ms. Cheniera.
Yes.
Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. Maliga.
Yes.
Ms. Shetty.
Yes.
Ms. Bonsall.
Yes.
Ms. McEwen.
Yes. And now can I get a motion for personnel items numbers 1 through 2? Dana and Pooja. Any questions or comments? Oh, plus the personnel addendum number 1, the green addendum. Thank you for the reminder, Robin. Dana and Pooja.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. Bonsall.
Yes.
Ms. Cheniera.
Yes.
Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Maliga.
Yes.
Ms. Shah. Ms. Shetty.
Yes.
Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Ms. McEwen.
Yes. And before we move on, I would like to recognize 3 retirements we just voted to approve. Barbara Whitmer is our Millstone River music teacher who has been with the district for 32 and a half years. Donna Matthews, our central office secretary who has been at WWP for 21 years. And Christine Capassi, who is our Director of Data, Assessment, and Accountability, though I don't believe that's been her only role in this district in the last 17 years. And we just want to congratulate you on your retirements. We wish you the best of luck, and we are grateful for your many years of service to WWP. Now, moving on, can I get a motion to approve the Board of Education minutes from March 13th and March 18th? Shweta and Liz. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any board liaison reports? Liz?
I actually just wanted to supplement what Dr. Adderhold had mentioned about the Send Hunger Packing work that was done just very recently. It was a very nicely worded letter, and I just wanted to make a couple of comments and read from the letter for just a quick moment because it was very important. A special thanks to the West Windsor-Plainsboro Regional Schools for rallying the teachers and staff to get involved. It takes a village to create such a meaningful event, and you all have made a difference. Your dedication, organizational skills, enthusiasm, and generosity have not gone unnoticed. The letter really did highlight the importance of collaboration across different entities, whether it's a small business, nonprofit organization, the school community, the local community, and just responding to a call to action. So we just very much appreciate everyone's involvement.
Thanks for sharing that, Liz. That was very heartwarming. Do we have any other liaison reports? Nope. Any new business? Nope. So then that brings us to our second opportunity for public comments. The board invites comments from members of our community who are present. Each participant is asked to give his or her name and address prior to making a statement, which will be limited to 3 minutes in accordance with Board Policy 0167. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. This public comment period shall be limited to 15 minutes. Name takers? Seeing none, I will. Yes, you may, Dr. Adderhold.
All right, so I did want to just note one accomplishment for one of our staff members here at Central Office. It's not one that we've had before, and I figure it's just worthy of just recognizing Ivy Harrington, our district social media manager. On Sunday night, she was crowned Miss New Jersey. So as Ivy prepares for Miss USA competition in September, she is, you might not know, she was a D1 athlete at Morgan State, and her platform is about female athlete empowerment, becoming the architect of your own identity outside of your jersey. So Ivy's been a coach for us, and she's been a contributor in our district, and we just want to say congratulations to Ivy and wish her best in the upcoming competitions, pageants, whatever it's called. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Wow, such rock stars across this whole community. This is amazing. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting? Louisa and Robin. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Good night.